Shabbos Daf Ayin Gimel. Continuing with yesterday's amazing sug of Misasik, we had a case where a person thought that he's cutting something that's detached from the ground, and in fact, he cut something that's attached to the ground. According to Rava, that's not a chaticha de yisura. It's not a wrongful cutting because he thought that he's cutting something which is mutter to cut. It ended up being aser, so therefore he's completely pater. It's not even a shaygig. But according to Abaya, since he intended to cut, the fact that he didn't know that what he's doing is aser doesn't make him a misasik. He's a shaygig and has to bring a carbon. The Gemara brings two more cases where Abaya and Rava argue, and they're a step more than what we're talking about. The second case is where a person takes, let's say, a ball, and he tries to throw it 2 amas in Rosh Hashanah, which is half of the shear that you have to throw in order to be chayiv. The shear is 4 amas, but his ball traveled 4 amas. Over here it's different. He intended to do a half a iser, whereas the first case, he didn't intend to cut something that's attached. It was detached. It's completely mutter. Rav in this case says he's pater, and Abaye says he's chayiv. And finally, the third case, which is worse than the other two cases, is where he intended to throw an object 4 amas. And he knows that throwing 4 amas in Rosh Hashanah is aser. He just doesn't know that he's standing in Rosh Hashanah. He thought he's standing in Rosh Hashanah. According to Rava, he's pater. According to Abaya, he's chayiv. But if we go back to the middle case, a person intended to throw an object 2 amas, and it traveled 4 amas. In other words, he intended to do a half a shear, and it went the whole shear. Abaya says he's chayiv. If so, if we take the sugya, and we had this question twice already, and it's on today's Mishnah. The Mishnah tells us that there are 39 avos malachos. Why tell us a number? The answer is to tell us that you could get up to 39 karbanos in one Shabbos, in one awareness. But if a person is a shaygig in all 39 malachos, the Gemara asks, then he doesn't know what's Shabbos today. If there's no Yisurim, then it's not Shabbos, then today Shabbos is no different than Sunday, Monday. So the Gemara says, but according to Abaya, it's possible that he knows that all these malachos are asur. He's a shaygig. He doesn't know what the shear is. Not knowing the shear, let's say the shear is a kiseves hagasa, whatever the shear is, he thinks it's more. And he did half. According to Abaya, that's a shaygig, he's chayiv. But according to Rav, it says that he's pater in that case. So we have to say the tirutzim that we said the other day, either according to Rabbi Yochanan, his shaygig is that he doesn't know this consequence that you get karas, or according to Rish Lakish, there's a 40th malacha called Tchumim. He's aware that you're not allowed to walk more than 2,000 amas on Shabbos. And now for the amazing, famous Mishnah, which will take us through the entire Masechta Shabbos, describing the 39 avos malachos. Avos malachos are the headline categories. There are many that are below, and in those categories, according to Yerushalmi, each av malacha has 39 taldos. Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish discovered after 3.5 years. And each one is chayiv b'deraisa, just like the av. But we can break them down into groups. 11 of them have to do with baking bread or the cooking of the samamonim, the dyes, and all these 39 malachas have to do with the meleches hamishkan. These are 39 steps that they took in the midbar to build the mishkan. And 11 of them were steps needed to cook the dyes. 13 of them are to make fabric. And the fabric was needed for the Urias hamishkan. 7 of them are for the hides, for the tachash, for the top of the Mishkan. 2 of them are for the kairos. The kairos had words on them. There was a ksiva and there's a mechika. And then there's another 6 that have to do with nets, with tying and untying, lighting a fire, mechaba, to take out into another rishus, makab patish. And let's start with lechem, with the bread. The first step is you have to sow the field, you have to plant. And then you plow the field. We're talking about in Eretz Yisrael that they plowed first to soften up the ground, then they sowed the seeds, then they plowed again. And the chiddush is that even the second charisha plowing is considered av melacha. The next one is, well, we discuss zereya, sowing, and the Gemara tells us that that includes also zoymer, which is pruning trees. When you cut down a branch, the branch grows even more, so that's like you're planting. Noiteya is when you plant a sapling of a tree. Mavrik is when you take a vine and you put it into the ground. Markiv is to graft. All these are all under one umbrella of av malach, and if you do all of them, you're only chayiv 1 carbon. Chayresh, as we discussed, is the plow, but that includes also chayfer, to dig, and chayretz, to make a furrow, and they're all considered 1 malacha. You do all 3 of them, you chayiv 1 carbon. Kaitzer, to harvest the wheat, and that includes baitzer, anovim, grapes, goider tmarim, dates, masik zaysim, olives, and figs. They're all considered 1 malachi. Do all of them in 1 Shabbos and 1 awareness. You chayv 1 carbon. Ma'amer means to gather and to make a pile. Rava says that it includes things that are not gidulei karka, like gathering salt in a factory, piling it up in a pile. Abai says it's only gidulei karka, something that grows in the ground. Dash, to thresh, to separate the kernel from the shaft. That includes menapet and menafet, that's to beat flax and cotton. It's considered one melacha. If you do all three of those, you have one carbon. If somebody is zomer, he prunes a tree, he cuts a branch, and he has two intents. One is he wants the wood, and the other intent is he wants it to grow more. So he's over on two melachas. And the same would apply to aspasta. If you have straw for an animal, you cut it and it grows more. You want it for your animal, you want it to grow more. And the same thing with beets. You're chayiv for kaitzer and noitaya. You're planting. In other words, you want it to grow more and you want the actual item. If you have a small pile of dirt, it depends where you are. So it's all in the intent. If it's in your house, you want your floor to be flat and straight, that's boina. And if you are in a field, that's chayrish because you're softening up the dirt for seeding. If you have a small hole in the ground and you fill it up, if it's your house, that's boina. You're fixing the floor. And if it's in the field, it's chayrish. An amazing shaila. You dig a hole in the ground, but not because you want the hole, but because you want the dirt. You are potter. Even according to Rabbi Yehuda that says, melacha shein tzricha legufa, you are chayiv. Meaning, if you do a melacha, but you don't want the outcome, the melacha is the solution. For instance, you have a dead body in your house and it's making a terrible odor. You take the body out. You don't want to take it out. What you want is you don't want to smell. You don't care about the outcome. You don't care about carrying. You care about not having a smell. Over here, you don't care about having a hole. You care about having dirt. But in this case, Rabbi Yehuda would agree that since you are mekalkel, you're ruining something. You are potter. Rav Papa says that if you take dirt and you throw it at a palm tree in order to get the dates, you're chayiv on two things. First of all, you are toilish, which is kaitzer. You're taking fruit off the tree. Second of all, you're mefarik, which is a malach of dash. You are breaking things up. You're separating. You're separating the dates from the wood around it. And Rav Ashi says no. Since that's not the way to do it, you are potter. And tomorrow we'll be talking about the three types of separation, boyer, zoira, and miraked. Have a wonderful day.